Hi, I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot. Welcome back to my channel. So, I have got a lot, and I mean a lot, of Tarot and Lenormand and Oracle and all those decks. I've got a lot of decks. Not that, decks, okay? For those who don't know what I'm talking about, if you're new here, please put the subtitles on and you'll see why, why I am emphasizing the word decks, okay? Look, all right. I have got a lot of decks of cards, and I could probably buy 1,000 more. I love my cards. I don't use them all, and recently in the past say year, I haven't really been doing a lot of readings, so I very seldom use, especially like my more ornate and elaborate decks. I very seldom use them. They sit there as a little collection, and I know they're there, and I'm happy they're there, and I probably look at some of them like once a year, all right? It's like people who buy books and never read them, but they've got them, and they will read them sometime. So I have all these beautiful works of art on my shelves, beautiful in their boxes. The boxes are works of art themselves, and as I said to you, I could buy tons more because there are so many new beautiful decks that have come onto the market since I stopped buying decks. But again, it starts getting very expensive, and it also becomes a bit of an obsession. I've done videos on this before, but I want to ask you, when does it come time, when does the time come to stop buying all these beautiful decks of cards? When do you stop? When do you say to yourself, right, you know what? I own 3 decks. I own probably 100 decks, okay, all in all. When does it come time to say enough is enough? Because the amount of money you end up spending on tarot and Lenormand and Oracle and perhaps even other little cards, you know, it starts adding up, and eventually you look at your shelf and you think, my God, there is a lot of money on that shelf. I think I need to insure just my decks, okay? And that's what I'm thinking, because I've got about 40, and I'm not making this up, I probably have over 40,000 Rand. It's a huge amount of money of tarot and stuff sitting on my shelf, and I probably use, as I said, I hardly ever use them anymore. I have one go-to deck, and strangely enough, it's my artificially aged Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So I've kind of got all these beautiful decks, and then I've gone right back to your common old RWS, okay? And it fascinates me that there are people out there that have got way more than what I have, that have collected hundreds of boxes of cards. I want to know from you, please let me know down below, when was it time, or when is it going to be time to stop buying and to stop putting into your collection? Or is there going to be a time when you are going to stop? Or are you absolutely determined that you're going to buy every single tarot deck that is out there on the market for the rest of your life? Okay, God knows I don't have that kind of money, but I would rather, honestly, the money that I've got sitting on my shelf, I could go to Mauritius on a really nice holiday. I'm not actually lying, I'm being dead serious. In fact, a trip to Mauritius and back to South Africa would cost me less than what is sitting on that shelf. But I love my decks, okay? And I wouldn't get rid of, unless I'm absolutely forced to, I wouldn't get rid of the ones I've got, because they're the ones that have been left over from previous culls, okay, previous clear outs. So when is time? When is the time? And I'll tell you the exact time it happened for me. I suddenly realized that the money I was spending on tarot, when I say tarot, I mean tarot Lenormand, all the cards, the money I was spending on that, I suddenly realized how much it was adding up to every month, every 2 months. And I started seeing that I could do other stuff with it. I'm very fortunate in that Justin, anybody who doesn't know Justin, just go and look at some of my previous videos. Justin, he didn't force me, he never forces me to do things, but he is, I call him my handbrake, because he does point things out to me that perhaps I don't want to see. You know what I mean? So he pointed out to me that I could go to Mauritius with the money that I've spent on those things sitting on my shelf. And that was a big eye-opener. I realized that I was spending a lot of money. And let me be very honest with you, the money I was spending was wasted. Some of you will say, oh, never waste money if you're buying a tarot deck or an oracle deck. Me personally, and please understand, this is anything on my channel is my personal view, all right, or my personal thing. That's my thing. I personally, if I had to buy tarot now, it would not be to use. It would simply be for the artwork, the box, and I guarantee you it would go back onto that shelf, and I will never take it off that shelf again, or probably only take it off in 5 years' time. To me, that is a waste. At least if you buy a book, you will read the book and then put it back on your shelf. Or you can put it on your shelf and anticipate reading it. Okay? I don't like doing that personally because, again, I find it a waste. I buy a book, read it, and then put it on my shelf. Or I gift it to someone else if it's not something I want to keep. So that was when I stopped. And I had to stop. All right? It was like any addiction. I think you have to get to a point where you have to get help. You need to get help. But there are so many other addictions. One of them would be shopping, online shopping. I know someone who's absolutely addicted. She has to buy something every single day. And do you know that the minute Amazon delivers it, she opens the package, closes it, puts it in the cupboard. There's stuff in her cupboard that has still got tags on. So are you addicted to collecting cards? You can be, all right? You might not even know it, but you can be. And I think admitting this and understanding the problem, because it's a problem, is the very first step. Like any addiction, it's the first step. And I think once you see that, because now I'm pointing it out to you, all right? I think once it's been pointed out to you and you see it, I think it will immediately make you realize what you're doing. Even though you might not be able to stop. It's like, oh my God, okay? It's like that, I have to have coffee in the morning. It's like, I have to have a new deck of cards every week, all right? I think once you see that, it's the first step in stopping, all right? You have to, I think most of us have to see the problem before we can do anything about it. And it's pointless having your friends say, oh, you know, you're wasting all this money, you're going, you have to see it for yourself. So when is your time to stop? And please, I'm not talking about the people who have 3 little decks in their collection and they're like, well, I don't collect cards, I just use these. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you, Sally, that cannot stop buying card decks. That every week you have to have something new from Amazon delivered. It's not about the cards. You do know that. It's not about the tarot cards. It's about the parcel being delivered. It's the excitement of opening that package. And there's this beautiful deck, and you open the deck and you go through the cards and it's beautiful. And then you are so uplifted. And then you realize once you've looked through the cards that, fuck it, I can't even use these cards because they're all gilded and glinted and gilded. And if I bend them, all this guilt is going to come off them. So I should actually feel true guilt about buying them. Do you see where I'm going with this? And then you shove it on the shelf and you never look at those cards again. So quitting, when are you going to quit? When do you want to quit? And don't tell me it's the next deck will be my last. I've pointed out to you that you have a problem, okay? Do something about it, because only you can. I'm Matt from Tammy Tarot. God. Okay, I'll do that again. Only you can. I'm Matt from Tabby Tarot, and I will see you on the flip side.